Hi Taurus, welcome in. I hope you're doing well. This is going to be a brief next 48-hour tarot reading for you. As we proceed, do keep in mind, this is general for the next 48 for you. We'll be getting around when you are guided or drawn to this video, not just following when I post it. But I do more than appreciate the likes, comments, and of course subscriptions if you haven't done so already. Do bear with any background noise if you can hear it. They've been trimming the bushes outside for ages now, but as you can see, I did pre-pull some random tarot and oracles, but it's a very purposeful spread, if I could even say it, to speak upon your next 48. First and foremost, from the Prism deck, we have the Magic card. Beautiful. So it's going to be a very magical next 48, even if you don't expect it to be, even if it doesn't fully feel like it 24/7. But I do feel like in the midst of you working, creating, developing, having money very heavily on your mind, working towards making more, acquiring more, reaching one of not multiple, important goals for oneself. I do feel like there's spiritual messing with, slipping up on your words, wondering why you said something, but then it feeling quite purposeful when you look back at it or think back at it. But to move on forward from the Animal deck, connection, tarantula. And so I feel like it's a next 48 to connect with people. I feel like your connection to your work, to your life purpose takes a highlight, to your goals. I feel like there's going to be one goal in mind, even if it's not financial, where your connection to the accomplishing, the fulfilling of which feels quite alive. They're saying within your soul. And I feel as if it's the next 2 days for you where you're easily connecting with other people, but asking oneself strategically at certain points, or getting the push to, should I be connecting with you? Whether that's at work, whether it's somebody online, it could be somebody from the past, whether it's somebody you live with, right? It could be a family member. It's not to say Spirit's pushing you to reevaluate your connections, relationships in your life as a whole. I mean, potentially, but just, is it going to benefit me? Is it going to be smart for me to be bonding with this person right now? Is their energy, they're saying aligned with mine, or just healthy enough to not put in that boundary and allow them in? Does that make sense? But I do feel like there is such an importance in how you connect to other souls in the next 48 as well as your work. But to move on forward, we're going to show the tarot. From the Gilded deck, we have the King of Swords. King of Swords. So you're being viewed as very bold and at times overly serious and very knowledgeable, wise, and somebody beyond their years, I feel the need to say. A bit of an old soul, but I do feel like they're saying a gem, a gem. You're being viewed as somebody to be valued and just defended at times. Two different cards, the Four of Swords and the Protection card from this deck, came out in the pre-shuffling, but I didn't take them. So I do feel like there's more than one level of protection being reminded. I feel like someone's defending you at work or just from a distance. Could be an online platform. I do feel as if there's a level of spiritual protection you're being reminded of. But I do feel as if there's more than one level of which, more than one moment in the next 48 where you have to put your knowledge to use. But they're saying you're also seeing one's knowledge, wisdom, and experience being put to the test. But it's an easy test is what I'm getting, an easy A. I do sense that passing with flying colors is what I'm getting. It's a sense of this being a very colorful next 48 where you might be viewed in a bit of a creepy manner at certain points due to your spirituality or an interest, a hobby of yours potentially, or something you accidentally say or decide to comment on. So it does reiterate the fact that you do need to be selective and think before you speak, but I do feel as if for some that this isn't going to be avoidable, right? It's inevitable, so just roll with the punches and just do what you got to do, right? But I do feel like they're saying that you're on point with hitting a target when it's meant to be hit. So just don't sweat the small stuff and don't overspend financially. But moving on to the other tarot card, we got the Ace of Cups. Now, some of you, this is an abundant new beginning for oneself, whether you began it recently or it's taking place in the next 48. It could be in the beginning stages, of course, but I do feel as if there's a sense of you being very intuitive, having an open third eye at this point along your path, and seeing certain levels of abundance turning into prosperity and overflowing from your cup all the meanwhile. But I do feel like it's you expecting more abundance moving forward and a sense of you not settling for less when it comes to dating, when it comes to finances, when it comes to investments. And Spirit saying that's good. And so, with that said and done, with that being realized or remembered, we kind of need to prepare for certain changes, upgrades, or one in particular moving forward. But there could be a moment or multiple in the next 48 where you learn something, observe somebody or an occurrence, and it gives you a new outlook or just a clear vision of what lies ahead or just what you have at hand, what you're wrapped up with, right? I feel as if for me, given I have Taurus in my Mars, I'm probably going to see something of importance or multiple moments at my serving job where it's going to give me a clear sense of what I'm dealing with moving forward. And this may just help me personally and apply this to your situation on how to best proceed with working there. Does that make sense? Or who to steer clear of? But I do feel like you are naturally glowing in the next 48. You're shining. But I also feel like there's a focus on your mind, on your thoughts. Are you keeping things simple? Some of which Spirit's going to be speaking very heavily through you quite consistently or just occasionally. And that's not in your control. So just take a deep breath and make sure that you are recognizing when it's your thoughts, right? And when it's not, but also just not taking things too personally, because it could be a sense of wait for them to mess with you. Imperfection is beautiful, and I feel like that's also coming through. And you may be reminding somebody that they're beautiful. Interesting. But we're also moving on to shine. Look at that. Perfect. So yeah, you're shining, you're glowing, but there's a sense of, again, your mind shining, your knowledge, your wisdom, what you produce and develop, that's glowing, that's shining. And I just feel like there's a sense of the clouds clearing for you individually. You may have been feeling a bit foggy recently, a bit unmotivated or just kind of blah. And you even might have moments like that throughout the next 48. But Spirit's saying, piece by piece, moment by moment, we're starting to feel the clouds clear for you. And that's purposeful because we need you to be feeling clear, clear-minded, clear vision, clear intentions, right? It just feels like, as well, just how you feel and your overall well-being takes a focus. You need to make sure you are watering your own temple well-being, right? Don't neglect your self-care. Like, for example, working out. If you have the time, go for a run or go to the gym, right? Allow for oneself to do what's going to make you feel more uplifted, feeling better about how you look, emotionally, even mentally, right? So that you can just produce and develop and sway through what you need to get done in an efficient manner. Don't allow for oneself to regret not taking care of yourself to the point where you don't feel as on point when you're working or whatever it may be for you at that moment. But I do feel like either way, you're being honored and viewed as very good looking. But moving on to the last one, we have the gratitude card, the honeydew dragon. Honeydew. I do feel like you will be feeling, even though there's a sense of, I was getting that from here, the clouds clearing, you are going to feel exhausted at certain points, and you just may need to find ways to, again, uplift oneself or just dig for that motivation or just that energy or add energy into your situation. But I feel as if no matter how you're feeling in the moment, how much energy you have or don't have, or how much you're exuding or not exuding, there's levels of passion exuding from you and coming through in everything you do, don't do, say, right, produce, develop once again. But it's the next 48 that shows you that you are doing what you're meant to at this time, right? And that's going to give you abundance. It's going to give you true levels of success that just feel gratifying. And I sense that something you've been working on is growing quite nicely, and you need to remember that. And I do feel like there's a sense of, at times, you being reminded you don't need to keep a close eye on whatever that is for you, something you want to be extra successful and go the distance. It doesn't need to be watched or checked on constantly, or even every once in a while for it to succeed. Allow it to thrive. It feels like social media for some. I know for me it will be this channel. And just allow for yourself to be confident in the fact that it's meant to just grow. It's meant to go the distance, right? So there's a sense of that being wrapped up in that all the meanwhile. a reminder or more clarity in regards to what your overall purpose is in this lifetime. It's going to be a very magical, once again, passionate, busy next 48 for you, where you're connecting to your work, to people. Once again, there's abundance overflowing from your cup, clarity taking place, and you just can't help but think about your money, your goals, and just your future, and how bright that looks for oneself. All right? And being grateful through it all. So I hope this was truly helpful. Sending you so much love and light. Go enjoy the next 48, and I'll see you next time.